Hey guys, what's up? In this lesson, we are going to talk a little bit more about robotics, using as a starting point the references we got from the internet. Well, a good idea would be starting by differentiating the structures. The key here is pushing a geometrical aspect. It is working with geometrical shapes. So, if you want to do something basic, you can use squares or rectangles. We'll be doing this to give personality to a robot. Thus, if we want to get a quite characteristic and peculiar aspect, we have to play around with shapes and features. This drawing you see on the left, as you can see, is quite simple and easy to copy. I recommend you to alternate with horizontal and vertical shapes in order to compose the robot and practice with them. And well, guys, this stuff you see here are the elements that allows the rotation of robot joints. For example, the first one rotates vertically and the second one horizontally. Just imagine an arm with different joints, and these joints have reduced movement and they allow us to move it. When it comes to robots, we'll find about these two types of joints, so we'll be using this drawing to differentiate them. We are going to draw a structure resembling an arm, as I said, to practice and see the different movements. Now I'm drawing this and using the arrows to indicate the movement direction it's supposed to have depending on the type of joint. Guys, we need to keep this in mind when designing a robot, since it might have limited mobility as a consequence of a missing part or element. For this reason, we need to be coherent when designing a robot. It's crucial. For example, guys, let's consider the following situation. Imagine you are asked to design a car, and then you draw the wheels anywhere. Let's say, don't know, the roof. It wouldn't make much sense, right? It will be crazy. Wheels' function is allowing the car to move forward or backward, turning, and so on. So, guys, that's why I said we need to be coherent. We can't do crazy things. Okay, as you can see, I've just made a hand and add all the details. If you want, you can also use coiled cables or similar elements, which resemble to the structure and appearance of a machine. A good idea would be using as a reference the inside of a mechanical clock, for instance. Obviously, in case you have one close at hand. Otherwise, you can also do a search on the internet. But anyway, it's quite easy to get a reference. For instance, in the legs case, we'll be drawing two joints like humans' legs. And depending on the model we want for our leg, the functionality will be also different. Why? Well, if you decide to draw a robot which hasn't been created to jump, then it will determine the type of legs you need to draw. This is why it's important to adapt our design to the anatomy we want to represent. It's not the same to draw a robot which is inspired by a frog that by a mole. A robot will present different characteristics depending on the animal it's based on. And this is what I meant in the previous lesson. I'm running through the robot's anatomy very quickly so that you can start thinking of the animal you want to use as a reference for your robot. I've had a look at different possibilities, and the one I find more interesting, well, it is the one I like the most and the one which offers more possibilities to work with. is the crab. So this is why I'm going to use these animals as a reference. In your case, you can choose any other animal you like and try to adapt it to a robot and include gears, cables, and so on to give it a more realistic aspect. Okay, I just erased a frog robot whose anatomy is similar to the one of the frog. Okay. Right, what I'm going to do now is get a new concept from a shape. Guys, bear in mind the following. Let's say I want to draw a two-legged robot with nice and pleasant features. In this case, I need to pay particular attention to the external shape. It is, we need to reflect these qualities on the face, an external appearance, obviously. So I'm going to do some kind of little arms. It's also very important, the facial expressions, as I said. If we want it to have a pleasant expression, then we'll need to make a round face shape. Don't forget that our robot should express feelings and emotions. That's why it's fundamental to include and highlight them. I mean, these need to be an important part of its appearance. And guys, we mustn't forget the external areas where we can add details, as I mentioned before. You can include cables, gears, nails, nuts, etc. Obviously, it will depend on how much we want to add. Regarding the robot of below, I'm drawing some little lines, the area of the joints, and so on. You can see it on the screen. If you want to use more references and inspiration, you can always have a look at the inside of some devices, such as a computer or the different pieces of a car or motorbike engine. Also a game console and so on. Everything is welcome. It's a good idea because you have a real reference, right? And you can touch everything and see how it works so that you can reflect it on your robot. So guys, this has been all for this lesson. I would like to mention that I'll be talking about symmetry as well in another lesson. So you just need to pick an animal and draw a robot based on its anatomy. Remember that you'll need to adapt the limbs and other elements to make robots. Are you ready? I'm really excited. Hope you liked the lesson. If you have any question or doubt, you can ask it on the forum and I'll try to answer it as soon as possible. Thank you very much and see you in the next lesson. Bye guys!